Not tested again.
I was born with it.
Hey. It's Podbros. We're back.
Yes, we are.
And it's our 30th episode.
Yes, it is.
So in celebration of our 30th episode. A touch of the bubbly.
But you didn't have the popping the cork sound, though.
Yeah, because that would require me to actually have to... And then... So this is sparkling cider.
Is that the grape one?
Oh, yes.
Oh, the best.
Oh, yes. I saved it for last for the taping of the show.
Indeed.
So, allow me to pour you some, sir.
I'm down. It'll give me an opportunity to look up the weather.
So, yeah, missed everybody last week. Sorry we weren't around. We had a very, very busy week. Nick had a gig all week long with the conference over at the Potter's house.
It was awesome.
And it was awesome, apparently.
It really was.
We actually had a pretty good week. I had a pretty good week as well.
I actually came and helped you.
You did.
On Thursday.
Because of silliness.
Which was actually kind of cool because at the conference, Thursday starts early. So it was perfect because I was able to finish
what you needed and then
finish what I needed to do, and then I could come over and help you for a second. You know, I did that, the issue. I had that same issue like 3 weeks earlier.
Yep, and thought we had fixed it.
And yeah. But, well, the problem is that you have multiple people. You have multiple people using the same equipment.
Correct.
And so inevitably you're going to have that sort of issue crop up again.
Right. Well, you know what? It went well. We had a good night. We actually ended up... It snowstormed that night, and so we ended up having to take an early night for elements.
Yeah, I was in the snowstorm.
Yeah, how did the parking lot go that evening?
Well, the parking lot went smoothly, but preparing the parking lot was a straight up nightmare.
Right, of course.
We shoveled. So the snow started falling at about 6:45. It started sticking
at about 7:10.
7:10, and so from about 7:15 until 8 o'clock.
Right.
I was out with me and a couple of the other guys who were working doing some of the conference stuff. We were shoveling snow. And if you've ever seen the building that the Potter's house uses as their conference center, which is actually our church building, and we have an overflow section we open up for conference, the main wall you can see from the highway that has the Potter's house written on it is the west facing wall of the building. And the snow was blowing up against the wall and falling down onto the sidewalk. And so we ended up shoveling. On the weather forecast, they forecast, I think it was ultimately like 3 to 5 inches of snow they forecasted, and we ended up getting about 4 inches of snow. So instead of shoveling 4 inches of snow, we shoveled 12, 15 inches of snow.
Because it was blowing up against the wall?
And falling down onto the sidewalk. And, yeah, it was terrible. So I shoveled the walk and then the main entrance exit probably, I would say 2 or 3 times with the rest of the guys. Of course, I wasn't shoveling all of it. And then it's a lot of people don't realize how much behind the scenes stuff happens. And so I'd been working since Friday last week. Thursday last week.
That is just...
not last week, 2 weeks ago. doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And so it was one of those things where it's like, I still have another day. I really need to stop. And I actually stopped. That was why I stopped at 8. And I just kind of went inside and was like, I've got to rest, because if I don't rest, I'm going to be just dead tomorrow, and I can't have that happen. And so I went inside, and they kept on, and a new group came out to shovel snow, and they shoveled the walks 2 more times.
Well, I mean, that is, just from a production standpoint, which is what we do, production, is, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes.
Oh, absolutely.
So while Nick was doing that, I was preparing for a wedding that we got the opportunity to do as Sound Bros Productions for our good friends Maya and Wesley Traver, and it was super fun. But I spent an entire day preparing for it, and then a whole nother day doing doing the wedding amongst the snow as well. And so that was a lot of fun.
But it went smoothly, though, right?
It did, and you know what? And I'm going to throw this out there. If you listen to our podcast, I know we've got some new listeners. I've talked to a bunch of people this last week that said they're going to listen. Thank you to everyone, of course, who listens to the podcast. We really appreciate the support on that. Definitely let us know that you're listening. Send us a note on Facebook or on Podbean or whatever. But if you're in the Quad City area and you're looking for an event venue, the Prescott Vibe Center, which is where they had their wedding at, which is right there by the airport, by those condos right there, that place is pretty awesome.
Did it have good vibrations?
It did. It kind of had this vibe about it.
Was it good?
They got a great sized dance floor. They actually have a stage. We are actually considering.
Were you giving out stuff about it? Were you
I was not giving out any.
Were
vibes,
you giving out good vibrations?
No, it's vibes, not vibrations. Vibes.
I'm making a joke. Short word. I'm making a joke about the song.
It's a short word. And
I'm making a joke about the song.
Stupid song.
It's not that. It's a decent song.
Which song is it?
You uncultured swine.
What are you looking at, you hacky puck?
I'm not even going to dignify it with an answer. Look it up for yourself, bum.
I know what it is. It's a Beach Boys song, isn't it?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. No, it's a good song. I'm just yelling to yell.
You're just being ridiculous.
Anyway, no, it really is a cool venue. They've got a smaller stage, but it's still a stage.
Also, if you're looking for sound for a venue you're already doing,
Sound Bros Productions
is at your service.
Not only do we do sound, but we also MC.
Yeah, production.
Production.
You mean the production side of productions?
You like the production side of productions, yeah. So, I got to MC that one. We're doing another wedding.
If you're doing an event where you're going to be needing a radio ad.
Yes, we do radio ads.
That is actually something we do a lot of.
Yes, we do complete radio ads, voiceover work as well. We get to do if you have a movie that you're making and you would like a trailer.
Ooh,
Sound Bros Productions this summer.
In a world
wrought with snow,
mystery,
there were 2 guys known as Sound Bros, and they made your commercial
in a land before time.
So I went out with a couple of friends after church last night, and we were sitting at Fujiyama's restaurant.
Fujiyama's.
It's right there in the Frontier Village. It's a sushi bar.
Oh yeah.
It's quite delicious.
I don't think I've ever been there.
Yeah, we need to go because it was awesome.
Is it good?
Yeah,
I like sushi.
Yeah,
so.
It was very, very good. I got something a little different. Instead of getting just the ordering of the sushi bar, which can be expensive because you can rack it up pretty quick. I kind of opted for one of the combination plates, and I got the chicken teriyaki. Came with a salad, the miso soup, and chef's choice on sushi. Ooh. It was quite delicious.
And what was the chef's choice?
It was salmon, tuna, a whitefish, and shrimp.
Sweet.
all on, just the rolls, and it had little bits of wasabi already on it.
Nice.
It was so good.
When was this?
Last night.
Last night after church?
Last night, yeah.
Because I went out last night after church.
Oh, really? Where did you go?
I went to Applebee's.
Ooh. Was Hannah there?
No, I didn't see her.
Oh. I'm sad. Our friend Hannah works there. She doesn't like her job.
I know why. It probably has to do with the other waiters.
Was it garbage?
I think it's because I understand the service industry and how it's supposed to work. But
you know
it's a bit of bubbly.
You know what I love about bubbly? It feels like they're giving you an applause every time you pour. Very good.
No, when you come into a restaurant, I expect I think this is something that's being lost in a lot of restaurants is I expect to be served.
Well, I think that
especially
when pause for a moment and explain to me, what do you mean by I expect to be served? Like, what exactly does that look like? And before you say anything, take this bottle from me so that you stay on it and finish that off. Okay. So, because my question is that, because we live, the reason I ask that is because we currently live in a culture where you now get service, right?
Right.
At McDonald's, which I don't have a problem with, but at the same time, personally, I don't want service at McDonald's. I want McDonald's to call my number out and me to go get my food, and for my Big Mac meal to not cost me $12.
Right.
Right?
So
what do you mean by service?
So when I say service, I mean I ordered a drink. My drink and you understand this.
Yes, very much so.
I expect my drink to not be empty.
Ever.
And I drink a lot.
Ever.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Bring me two.
Those
are the best waiters.
Bring me they'll do like
put a carafe down.
Every time they come past, they'll give me a drink and they'll be like, they'll see it and be like, they'll leave and come back with a pitcher.
Yeah.
And it's like, I have no problem with that, especially if it's water. Especially if I come in and order water.
We guzzle at restaurants
because I drink a lot. I drink a lot of liquid.
Well, we drink a lot of liquid, but water in particular.
Absolutely.
I have actually had waiters and waitresses look at me like I am something from another planet, because they'll set down the glass when they're dropping all the glasses off, and before they get to the end of the table,
you're done.
I'm done, and I'm like, yeah, can I get some more water?
Yeah. So, I went to Applebee's. One of the thing I like at Applebee's, as a matter of fact, I haven't really tried the rest of their menu very much, but the one thing that I like at Applebee's, the one thing I've always liked at Applebee's, is their wings.
Yeah, of course.
They have really good, boneless wings and really good bone-in wings.
Well, one of those things. You go to a restaurant like that, and they've got all this other different food. But for one of those, that is the type of food that you get. That is, it's just,
Okay,
that's
pause,
one of those
pause,
foods.
Pause.
You in my
Pause.
ears down, please.
Double pause.
Did it freeze?
Pause. No. You want me to go down or you?
You in my ears.
I just turned it down. Is it better? Or do you want me to go down more?
A little bit more.
Okay.
This is, I haven't set up...
Is that better, or do you want me to do more?
No, that's good. Can you bring me up a little bit?
You're maxed out, almost.
Maxed out?
Let me see if I can get a little bit more out of you.
No, you're good. It's all right.
How's that?
Fine. Yeah,
that's it.
Good.
That's all of it. That's much better. That is literally all of it. You are at 100%
on both?
On both, and your mix is at 100%.
Oh, jeez.
So...
I think
we just need to figure out whatever's wrong with the headphones so you can get both sides.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Well, I just got to get the right adapter.
Right.
I need to get that. We'll get that tomorrow.
So,
sorry, that was the production side of Sound Bros Productions podcast.
So, what I'm saying is that, so first the drink. The drink, for me, you can screw up the food.
Right.
The food can be crap. You could bring me the wrong thing and then fix it.
Right.
and I won't care.
If my drink is full all the time.
But if my drink is full all the time, that's what I'm saying. If everything else is trash and my drink is full all the time, I'm gonna be a happy camper. Because in my opinion, I am getting my money's worth out of the meal,
right,
with the drink, because I'm not getting it out of the food.
Right.
I'm really not. No matter how much you would like to say you are, you're gonna get your money's worth out of the drink. And so, it's like, if you're gonna give me subpar quality, but you're gonna keep my drink full of water, my glass full of water, or my glass full of whatever drink I've ordered, then I'm gonna probably be a happy person
the whole time.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because I'll at least be able to have something to drink.
There is not much you can do if I have a full drink that is going to make me hate the service or dislike the service.
Well, and that's the thing, is that as far as that goes, that shows that you're doing your job service-wise,
or at least attempting.
Well, if you're keeping my glass full, then you're doing your job service-wise.
Right.
And so as far as the service side of things goes, then I will feel obligated to give you a tip, and a good tip, not just like a crappy tip.
Right.
If I have to constantly ask for a drink,
yeah.
If I have to constantly ask for stuff,
you know what I kind of feel like too, like.
Along the
drink side, is that waiter, and this is kind of iffy, but it's that line, it's that muddy line, but it's the waiter that asks if I want a drink refill. A lot. Like, if it's obvious we're winding down, right? And it's the end of the dinner, and you ask, hey, do you
or if it's the first drink,
or you want a drink refill? Fine. Ask me.
Right? But if it's like the first drink.
What do you mean?
Like you just said, you're in a big group, and by the time they're done with all the drinks, you're done.
Yeah.
With your first load.
Do you want another one?
Absolutely. That's totally acceptable.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's the, do you want another one? Every single time I'm out of water or I'm out of a drink.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand if you're asking me because it's a specialty drink and it's not free refills.
Yeah.
Right? Then by all means, thank you for asking. And I appreciate that. But it's the asking every single time. Yeah, I want a drink. Keep my stinking cup full.
Right.
I mean, that is simply, if I never see you and every time I look back my drink is full.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm happy. I mean, that's basic 101.
So I went on, and this is kind of a unique situation because someone took me out to eat. Oh, okay. And it wasn't Dutch.
So they were paying for
They were paying for me. They wanted to bless me.
Right.
And I greatly appreciate it. They are good friends of mine, and they're
right.
I work with their kids on a regular basis, and so it was one of those things where it was like I appreciated the thought. And so we go there, and I tried to avoid. I actually didn't say anything about the service at all, because someone else is paying, so it's not in my department at all.
Correct.
But
yeah.
Applebee's has this promotion right now where it's all you can eat wings,
ooh,
or all you can eat ribs, or all you can eat some sort of breaded shrimp.
Nice.
And of course they do the thing where they give you the full order and then they give you like a mini order.
Yeah.
Right.
And they do that over and over and over.
Yeah, and they do it over and over because it's endless wings or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So I get my first order of wings, and she does, they do what they always do, which is, do you want some more wings? It's like, well, of course I want more wings. Like, all right, we'll put them in for you. And then I asked when they put the food down for an extra ranch, because there's never enough ranch.
Right.
Didn't get a ranch.
Okay.
When she came by again and asked if I wanted another order of wings, I said yes and asked for ranch again.
Right.
Still didn't get ranch. It wasn't until she came back by again and I said I wanted more wings, and she said, oh yeah, they're in. And I said, okay, and I need extra ranch. And she was like, oh, okay, I'll bring extra ranch then. It wasn't until the third time that she finally acknowledged that I was asking for something.
Okay, yeah, that's obnoxious.
And now if it's a restaurant where they're charging you 50 cents per thing of ranch, which there are restaurants that do that, I get it. If you're gonna, you're kind of being the nice waiter and just kind of avoiding the fact that I've asked the question.
Right, because you're trying to save me the money.
However, on the menu specifically, it specifically stated boneless wings, fries, and buttermilk ranch. It specifically mentions it in the promotional thing on the menu.
That it's unlimited.
That it's unlimited.
Yeah. Keep my table flowing with ranch. Right?
And the other thing is that she waited around on the order of wings to the point where by the time I got my second order of wings, the rest of the people at my table were done.
Right, so you didn't actually get what you wanted.
And so I didn't get my third order of wings because
you would have.
Because that's where you make your money on those.
Yeah, is after you get past your
It's after your first refill plate that you actually start getting your money's worth in the food, is on that third set of wings. And so, it's like, okay, great, I get that you're whatever, you're trying to keep down the margin, but, I want to enjoy, I'm coming in to enjoy this. Don't you want me to come in and enjoy this again? And so this is, what's interesting is that the last time I was at Applebee's, which was at the beginning of the NFL football season. The only reason I know that is because the reason I was there was because a bunch of guys from church invited me on Sunday afternoon to go watch the game.
Yeah, and I didn't get to join you for that one.
Which you were there for a little bit, but I don't really care about the football game. Who cares? I just enjoy the fellowship and the good food.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that was right when they started doing their unless wings. And I got the new waiter. And he got a flipping huge tip from me because he brought me 3 or 4 full orders of wings.
Just so that everybody's on the same page. When we do pizza and wings between the two of us, we'll order pizza and wings.
One pizza.
And then we will order... Yeah, it's a pizza and wing combo. And then we'll order another order of wings so that I can have 5 of them and Nick can have the rest of the wings. Because Nick eats wings.
I love wings. and what's funny is that I do like bone-in wings, but I prefer boneless wings. And mostly I prefer boneless wings because they make them with chicken breast. So they're not it's a little bit more healthy for you as far as the chicken goes.
Okay.
And depending on who makes it, it tends to be a little bit less fried, I guess you could say.
Okay. Because
they don't need to do as much to it because it's mostly meat. Or all meat, I guess you could say. But that's neither here nor there. I just love wings. Regardless of how they're prepared, I just love wings. And so, from that experience to this one, and I think that experience, I know he got from me a 25% tip.
Wow, that's a good deal.
Which for a new waiter is fairly impressive. And the only reason that he didn't get a higher tip, and unfortunately you really shouldn't do this because it wasn't his fault at all, but the manager pissed me off.
Oh, really? How so?
Because the manager kept on coming by and hounding us about the new waiter. How's he doing? Is he doing okay? It's like,
if he's not, I'll let you know.
And that's what I finally stopped her and I was like, listen, if there's a problem, you better believe you'll know. And she kind of looked at me and it was like,
leave me alone.
Go away. I had a huge flipping table. There was like 10 of us. It's like, leave me alone. I'm enjoying the company. As much as I don't really like or don't really care about football, I'm enjoying the game.
Yeah.
I don't need to be harangued by you about your new waiter.
About your new employee, yeah.
Yeah, that's your job. It's not my job.
Yeah, you pay attention. I'm not doing your job.
Because the truth of the matter is that you're not paying attention. That's why he brought 3 full orders of wings out to me and to the guy next to me and the guy next to him. Which it was now that I think about it, that was the other reason why I enjoyed that day. Because some family friends had just moved back into town, and we we hung out and had lunch with them, which was kind of cool, you know. And so that, you know, and we all ordered the same thing. We all ordered wings, you know, the boneless. It's a great deal.
Right.
And then at the end of the night, I ordered one more. At the end of the afternoon, I ordered one more order of wings. And she intercepted that it was a, you know, refill order of wings and brought out the smaller portion. And so that was one more thing on top of everything else that made me upset.
Right. Was the management just being ridiculous?
Was the management interfering? And
but
it's like,
see, we've had this discussion before.
Well,
about
this
management.
is the thing is that from and have I ever told the story about Subway on the show? I don't think I've ever told the story about Subway on the show. So this is one of the things I despise about management. You're a manager. Your job is to command and lead the troops. I get it. I have been in a management position in several different situations. Luke has literally worked as a manager for years and years and years.
A good part of my life.
I get it. I understand how management works. Do not manage your employee in front of me.
Correct.
It is rude and offensive to me and to your employee.
Well, it's not that it's rude and offensive to me, and it's degrading to your employee.
And that's why I say it's rude and offensive to the employee.
And that is unnecessary. You don't need to
degrade when I'm sitting there in your restaurant and you've got a back room that you can talk to your new employee about
and say, them in the back room.
And say, hey, you brought out full orders of wings. You're not supposed to do that. After the first order, it's supposed to be these smaller portions. Oh, my bad. It's my first day.
Yeah.
Don't do it in front of me.
And if it really is truly an issue, intercept them.
Yeah.
Be paying attention.
But she wasn't paying attention, and that's the issue.
And that's exactly it.
And so it's like, you know what? Don't do it in front of me. Don't tell him in front of me that he messed up on the amount of food he gave me.
Right.
Because I'm really happy. Because I know that he messed up.
Right.
And I'm really happy that he did. And he's going to get a fat tip from me because he did.
And I'm really happy that I don't have to order 7 extra orders of wings.
Yeah, I only had to
do 3. So I don't actually have to sit here and wait and then get fed up with waiting and leave, which is what you want.
Which is what exactly. But he's going to get a fat tip from me.
Yeah.
Which is going to benefit the cook because the cook gets part of the tip.
Yeah.
Because I know how Applebee's does their tipping. And the bartender's going to be happy because he's going to get part of that tip too.
Yeah, because they tip out everybody.
Because they take a portion of the tip. The cook and the waiter take a portion of the tip. Or the cook and the bartender take a portion of the tip.
Which is actually, I don't agree with.
I don't agree with that either. Because
the cook, yes. The bartender.
Well, no. The cook should be getting paid salary. And the bartender should be getting paid. And the bartender shouldn't get anything
other than the bartender's tips and any drinks that it made with the waiters on that.
Exactly.
And that's how you should track it. And I don't drink alcohol, so he shouldn't be getting any tips off of my tips at my table.
Correct. Because I
didn't use the bartender at all.
Exactly. And if he was making my drinks, then there's something else wrong.
If he's making my regular drinks.
Yeah, if he's making my regular drinks, then something else is wrong.
Yeah.
So, it's the bottom of the hour.
Of course it is. We haven't been on in a while, and we got on a good subject.
And I'm going to tell my Subway story after this.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we're on Spotify,
Well, we didn't actually tell everyone. You know, we're Podbros,
Facebook,
a production of Sound Bros Productions.
And I know you've been waiting for an entire week for this.
Productions.
Yes, but it's because we've been doing productions. It's so great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's so great. So
Facebook, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Podbean.
Hey, if you have a business out there and you do shredding,
oh yeah, that's right.
There is a company in town called Shredheads. And I will have information for you more of that information later on this week. But they offer a annual shred service. Mm-hmm. That will come out once a week or once every other week or even quarterly, and will leave you a bin that is secured that you will be able to put your shred in, and then they will pick it up and take it and securely shred it for you with all the compliance of shred laws and all that stuff.
That's awesome.
Which is really, really cool. They're a locally owned company. It's a couple of...
They're called Shred Heads?
They're called Shred Heads.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a couple of really good guys. I actually am going to be driving a route for them.
You're going to be a driver for them? That's cool.
Yeah. So if you do that, then you'll get to see me on Thursday. Nice. When I roll around and pick up your shredding.
And then to tap onto the back of that, if you need anything for a party or a wedding or anything like that, we can show up and do the sound for that. We can do MCing for stuff.
Indeed.
We can do DJing for stuff. If you need a radio ad, we do
radio
radio ads.
We can actually help you write the radio ad. And do them in such a way
that we have access to
get people's attention.
Pretty good supply of royalty-free music.
Indeed, yep.
And
of course, if you haven't heard, we do plenty of voiceover work.
And on top of that, this was something I forgot to mention earlier when we were talking about making movie ads. Was we do have connections. I personally have connections with some of the local radio stations.
Yes.
And Luke has connections with some of the TV stations in town. So we might be able to make some connections for you for your business.
To get your business
and you can give us a call or contact us on Facebook or any of the normal means that you would be able to contact us.
Actually, you know what? Let's throw it out there. So we are on Facebook. It is... if you want to send us an email, it is soundbrosproductions@gmail.com. If you want to give us a call, our office number is 928-533-2442. And you can leave us a number, leave us a message or
leave us a specific message.
Call and leave us a specific message.
We need to know the name of your company, what you're or the name of your group,
what you're looking for, and when is a good time for us to call you back so we can set up a meeting.
Exactly, that's what we're looking for.
And
some specific details and your name, of course.
I will say on the sound side, I was having a little conversation with the event center that we just did for the wedding this last week.
The one with the good vibes.
The one with the good vibes. So the reason why we say MC and we don't say DJ is because we're not DJs.
That is true.
I will play your music, and I will switch songs, but I am not a disc jockey. I am an MC, and so because I'm an MC and a sound engineer, and Nick is a sound engineer you're an MC as well.
If it's necessary.
If it's necessary. We don't charge DJ prices, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
And so part of that is that, on average, you're going to pay a good arm and a leg for a DJ.
Although
you are not going to pay that with us. However,
I do look like a rapper, though.
You do. You look like Action Bronson.
I do.
Especially when you were that New York cat. In New York, we had people coming up to us in New York City.
And taking pictures with us.
It was very fun. They were like,
pictures with
us. Can we take a picture with you guys?
It's Action Bronson. Are you? I had one guy come up to me. He's like, are you? And I'm like, I'm not. But I look like him, though. And they're like, can we take a picture with you anyway? And I was like, sure, I don't care.
Absolutely. So we don't charge those prices. We're a little bit on the less expensive side. But I know that you're going to get a quality product. And a quality service from us. We, the venue we did this last week, it sounded so good in that building. Mm-hmm. It sounded so good in that building.
Was it good vibes?
It was phenomenal vibes.
So you were giving out good vibrations?
I was giving out good vibrations.
Dirty.
So I will tell this part of the story. I had a couple of requests. I played Best of Both Worlds by Hannah Montana, and of course all of the theatrical children that were at the wedding were having a time, and then of course my phone decided to give out in the middle of some stuff, and so a couple of extra songs that I hadn't had prepared stopped in the middle, but it was perfect because everybody was singing the song. So they finished the song and I started the next one.
Solid.
So
wait, why were you playing music on your phone?
Because I didn't have it in our list.
Oh,
it was a couple of the randoms.
That's right.
You can make sure that you have all the music that you expect to have and expect to need, but there's always going to be that that one or two songs that are like,
oh yeah, we forgot.
You want to hear what? And they go, oh yeah, no, really. And you play it, and the crowd loved it. You know,
right.
they went crazy for it. So it was very good. I will say, the best part of that was being requested to play Journey, "Don't Stop Believing," by some of the people at the wedding, and it just, how it happened was probably my favorite thing in the whole world. But so anyway, it was a good time, and we would love to be that good time for you in your party, wedding, whatever, bar mitzvah. We are actually going to be doing security for a bar mitzvah at the Vibe Center coming up in May.
Oh.
So the Sound Bros Productions will be the Sound Bros Productions security team. Over for a bar mitzvah.
Nice.
In May, so that'll be super fun.
So now that we've passed the bottom of the hour,
yeah, you want to tell your Subway story?
Senior year of high school, me and my good friend who's actually getting married next week, Andrew Brewer, we went.
That's the wedding we're doing.
We discovered the Feast at Subway.
Yes.
Which is a hidden menu item, and it is all of the sliced meat.
All the cold cuts.
And then, whatever cheese and whatever. So we decided one afternoon, we were working on something, and it was like, well, we're going to go get the Feast. And that'll be our meal for the evening. While we work on stuff.
And the day after that.
Oh, no.
No, continue.
Come on, you've hung out with me and Andrew.
I have.
We pair each other for food, man.
They do, and it's ridiculous because Andrew is tiny.
He is tiny. Anyway, so we go in, and I'm second. I think Andrew had his sandwich made first. But I'm sitting there, and he is making my sandwich. I ordered the Feast with double meat because I'm that guy. And he is piling on the meat. It's awesome. I'm getting excited. And the owner comes around the corner and sees him loading up this sandwich and loses her crap on him right in front of me.
Oh my gosh. Wait, which Subway was this?
The one over by
Papa John's?
Yeah, in Briscoe Valley.
I will never eat there again.
Well, that was where I was getting to. She's ranting at him, she's belligerent, all this stuff. And he turns, and I guess this was a common thing because he just kind of turns to her very casually, very nonchalantly and says, he's getting the Feast with double meat. And she was just like, well, be careful of the portion sizes next time, and stormed off. And he looked at me and he's like, do you want me to keep going?
Yeah.
And it was like, finish. You've already started, finish it. I'm not going anywhere else. And then when I was done, he's like, I wouldn't be upset at all if you guys never came back. And I'm like, well, you better believe I'm not ever coming back because there's plenty of other Subways in town, and I don't have to come to this one.
Yeah, so I will tell a fun story about that Subway myself. So
needless to say, the Feast was fantastic.
Of course.
But anyway, go ahead.
So I went to that Subway, and when I got there, I actually was trying to take an order on my phone.
Okay.
For someone. And she yelled at me to turn my phone off.
Seriously?
To my face. Yes. And I, unlike you in that situation, I don't have any problem.
You gave it to her?
I walked out the door. Yeah, straight up. I said, nope, I will have nothing to do with you or your restaurant ever again. First off, that's rude and unprofessional. Second, I'm a customer and I'm taking orders for people. I got to run the lunch. So I have to take these orders and talk to you while I take the order for you. And I'm making you money that way. So, so I will never come in here again. And she just kind of looked at me. It was actually her husband at that time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he just kind of looked at me with this weird look, and I said, there's something wrong with you. And I walked out the door. It's like, you know what? No. We're not doing that. You know?
Yeah, and you know what? Not to be this guy, but they are foreigners.
They are.
And people from other countries have a really hard time with the concept of service.
Of certain service things, yes.
No, of all service things. They have a hard time with service things. The United States is the only place in the world where you pay a tip when you go to a restaurant.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right. That is true.
People don't pay tips other places.
No, and we have friends that come
there are a few
overseas.
places on the border, like in Mexico on the border,
Right.
or up in Canada on the border,
Yeah, and there
where
are
you
people
pay
that
tips.
we've had to tell, like we have to remind them.
But there are
in
people
America,
that come here and
pay
you tell
tip.
them, you have to give a tip.
Yeah.
You can't go to a restaurant and not give a tip.
Yeah.
That's how this works. And they, even with the lack of service, even with the degrading service, as service has gotten worse and worse and worse, even still, they are shocked.
Right.
That this person brought drinks to the table and then came back and refilled the drinks.
Yeah.
Like, what are they still doing at the table? It's like, they're our server.
Excuse me. Yeah, and I think, but I think that all ties together with the lack of work, the lack of workers or quality workers in the world anymore.
Right.
You know, and that ties back in, of course, to the conversation we had a couple weeks ago now about the minimum wage. You know, when you're getting paid more than you're worth, right? You don't work as hard.
You think you're more than you're worth.
You know,
that is
you
the
begin
problem.
to think that you're more than you're worth.
You think that you're more than you're worth, and that's actually something that I dealt with a little bit last week. You know, with inevitably when you're dealing with large number of people, even Christians,
yeah,
you get those people that they think that they are hot. They are the hot stuff, and they are upset that they have to park back in the back of the parking lot.
Yeah,
and I should have a reserved space with a sign on it.
You are not special.
And don't you know who I am? And blah 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 blah. And it's just like, you know what?
Well, you know what? Let's talk about that real quick because I've been noticing that in the news lately, and I want to
I just want to say this for a sec. And this is I guess my defense of people that have good service. I'm out here in the parking lot, in the cold, parking you.
Yeah. A little courtesy,
for free.
Little humility. Yeah. For free, yeah. Yeah, I'm not getting paid to do this.
And on the service side of things, for waiters, yeah, this person's waiting my table and getting paid up to $3 under minimum wage.
Yep, and then if they do a good job, they're going to make a ton more money than minimum wage.
And they're going to have to pay a crap load of money on their tips because the government has crappy laws about tips.
Because the government is ridiculous.
And they pay extra on tips.
Which is why I give cash tips. As much as I can.
That is true. Cash tips are where it's at.
Cash tips because you know what? Screw the government on their taxes. I'm sorry, but
yeah,
none of that crap.
So there's my equal perspective.
So but what I was going to say is that there's a lot of talk about the evangelicals.
Okay.
Right? And we were watching a couple videos earlier.
Yes, we were.
And the problem that I have with the problem that I have with the term evangelicals is that it is like the term Christian, as in it encompasses a lot of things that are not.
That are not actually
it. That are not actually
Christian.
Yeah, like so you call people Christians, and that encompasses Catholics and Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses.
And the
Crusades. Yeah, it's like, okay, first do your history. Second, Christianity is being a son of Christ.
Christ-like. Living your life like Christ.
Which means Catholic is out. Mormon is out. Jehovah's Witness is out. Basically anything where you're not actually living how Christ-like is.
Actually, the truth of the matter is that it's anywhere where the perpetuation of your sin or the removal of your sin is proportionate to what you do.
Proportionate to your work.
That's what I mean. To what you're doing.
To what you're doing, yes. So
because well, I mean, we're talking about this, we might as well talk about it. Jesus Christ came to earth was sinless, without sin.
Yes. Died
on the cross, took all of our sins.
And he was given the opportunity to sin.
Right.
Never miss, we always, we kind of brush over that from time to time. He was tempted because he was fully God and fully man.
Yes, he was tempted and did not sin. Took all of the sins of all mankind for all time
onto
himself on the cross, and then died.
Right.
And then went to hell.
Yeah.
Went to hell. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Because of his sin.
Because of his sin, he went to hell.
Because he took the sins of man upon himself.
And
however, he is fully man and fully God. And so because of that,
he was able to take the keys.
Death could not hold him captive. And so there is nothing that we can do.
Right.
There is nothing that Nick can do. There is nothing that Luke can do.
Correct.
Ever. I could beat myself and help the poor and the needy and give all my money to the poor and spend the rest of my life building hospitals and churches and schools all over the world until I died an old man.
And it still would be enough.
It still would be the waste. It would still be the waste that you throw in the trash.
Let's go there. It's not enough. It's not even remotely enough.
No, it's still vile. It's still vile trash. That deserves to be thrown in the garbage.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not even.
There is only one thing that can get rid of my sins.
And that is the blood of Christ.
And that is the blood of Jesus. Yeah. And that is the issue, is that is the first issue, is that it is somehow there is some other way to do it. Yeah. That is the first thing. The second thing is that, what did Jesus do? Because I just had this conversation earlier today with someone that I have a relationship with, on a limited sense, but I have a relationship with them, and they believe a little bit differently than me. And they made this statement. Well, Jesus hung out with tax collectors and prostitutes.
Yes.
But here's the problem, though, is that he didn't just hang out with tax collectors and prostitutes. He hung out with tax collectors and prostitutes that had been changed. They were not still tax collectors and prostitutes.
And when he was done hanging out with them, they were no longer.
Mary Magdalene stopped being a prostitute.
Yes.
Zacchaeus stopped being a tax collector. Well,
Matthew.
Actually, no, correction. He still continued to be a tax collector, but he stopped ripping people off.
Yeah, he became a righteous tax collector.
He became a righteous man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matthew. A great example, Matthew.
Matthew. He called Matthew, sitting at the tax table, "Come, follow me." And Matthew dropped
let it all go and
followed him. I literally just read it this morning. And so my point is,
and let's go even one step farther. And murderers. Simon the Zealot.
Yep.
Zealots killed people.
Yep.
Zealots killed Romans. Zealots killed tax collectors.
They killed everybody. Anybody they could get their hands on that would further, quote unquote, strong air quotes, that would further their agenda.
They would kill.
Their agenda of freedom against Rome.
This guy's a murderer. He is a murderer.
Yep. And he was one of the disciples.
But he encountered Jesus.
Yep.
And stopped being a murderer.
And was changed. Because that is what makes a Christian. And so along the same lines of the mocking and the muddying of terminology,
right,
which is what we see in our culture,
a lot.
There is a muddying of the term evangelical. And it bothers me because when they talk about it in the news and they talk about evangelicals, they're not talking about evangelicals. We are evangelical. They're talking about charismatics.
That's exactly what they're talking about.
Charismatics are a group of misguided, incorrect people who will toss out clear doctrine in the Bible, that clear words that say certain things for the hype.
Yeah, for the hype. It is every bit of
it boils me and I start to lose my words.
It's every bit of the Quakers without any of the compassion and love of the Quakers. Because you read about the Quakers, and the reason they called them Quakers is because they were all excited and they were shaking.
Yep.
That's why they called them Quakers, because they were fired up.
And it's great to be fired up.
But
correctly.
But here's the thing, though, is that what made the Quakers so amazing? What made them so unique? It wasn't just that they shook. It was that they were the first area of the New World that truly had religious freedom, that didn't oppress other religions that were in their area.
And please understand, we're not talking about oppressing any other religions. You want to worship whoever you want to worship, you go for it. You do it over there.
Well, it's the First Amendment.
Push it on me.
Freedom of religion.
Yep.
It's the issue with rights, and I think I've mentioned this before, but the issue with rights is that you have the right to do what you want up until a point where it starts affecting other people's rights. As long as
it is not infringing on other people's rights.
As long as it's not, not affecting, infringing.
Infringing.
Because we just made a statement that affects the way that you think about things.
Of course.
We have made a definitive statement.
But I'm not infringing on your right.
We have made a definitive statement about Jesus.
Yes.
We've made a definitive statement, I'll make it right now, that I believe that if you do not accept the gift of salvation and turn from your sins, that you will be separated from God in eternity.
Jesus said, "No man comes to the Father but through me."
And so now I've made a definitive statement that in interacting with this statement will alter the way, it will affect the way that you perceive the world.
Perceive the world, yes. However,
I am not forcing
you
to believe it
in any way.
I am not forcing you to act on it. You could
and I am not requiring you to be offended or not offended.
Exactly. You can do whatever you want.
Do whatever the
heck
you
you want to be offended by it, absolutely go for it.
Let me go one step further.
And while we're talking about this, because this is one of the things that always comes up is that, well, was Jesus even a real person? Jesus was a real person.
Yes, there's more proof.
It is verifiable in what is called secular history.
Yeah.
In Roman history, there is documented evidence, physical documented evidence that Jesus Christ, or Jesus of Nazareth, son of Joseph, was a real live person.
Yeah. Who was put to death by the Romans.
For claiming that he was Messiah.
Claiming to be God.
For claiming to be God.
And
that he rose from the dead.
That there is no body. They can't find it.
No, more than that. That he rose from the dead.
Exactly. I'm talking secularly.
He rose from the dead. But I'm talking about, you look at the works of Josephus.
Yes.
Who was a Jewish.
Well, he owned the tomb.
He was not Josephus. No. That was
Joseph of Arimathea.
That was Joseph of Arimathea.
I'm sorry.
Josephus was a Jewish prince who was allied with the Romans in a manner of speaking, political alliance. But his documentation, he documents Jesus' life.
Right.
And
so let me take it another step, because we're saying that we're not infringing on it. And so to take that infringing, quote unquote, a step further, if you choose, which is your right to choose, yes or no. If you choose no, which is not a good idea, I believe, guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to treat you any differently.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're still a human being. And I still care about you. As a person.
Obviously, I just spent all this time letting you know how much I care about you.
By telling you what I believe so that you can make eternity in a better place. Right? So, but the misconception that, quote unquote, evangelicals are this group of people that are shove Jesus down your throat, and browbeat you into something.
Right.
To be 100% honest, that offends me. That offends me more than people who don't believe the way I believe.
It's true. It's true. Because people who are charismatic, they tend to stray away from
truth.
More than just truth, from reality.
Yep.
They tend to make statements. The video we were just watching, this one individual is making these grandiose statements that are, from a Christian perspective, blasphemous.
Yes, very.
Where I walk is where God walks, and it's holy ground. I declare this area holy ground. It's my right to. It's like,
you have power in Jesus, but it also depends on who you are.
No, you have power in Jesus, but God did not give you the power to declare areas holy ground.
Yeah,
pretty sure that in the first 4 books of the Bible and in the book of Acts, there is nowhere that Jesus said, "Oh, and by the way, while you're going into all the world preaching the gospel,
declare this holy
you
ground.
can declare this area holy ground."
Yeah, yeah. So where are we at?
We're at 56 minutes.
All right.
Well, not quite, actually. Because we started a little bit after I had started recording, so we still got a few minutes. But you want to talk about the weather and we'll finish it up?
Yeah, do the weather. Okay.
So, because the weather has actually been very lovely.
The weather actually was very nice
minus
today.
The snow.
I actually liked the snow.
Which the snow was great.
That you were in.
Except for working in it was really obnoxious. And then the next morning, I
lost my hat in the snow.
We did have 2 people fall in the ice the next morning, and the power was out.
Oh, that's right.
But the power
was out everywhere, by the way.
But the power was out not because of that. I think the power was out. So the airport.
The power was out at ours, too.
But the airport is being upgraded. I don't know if anyone knew this.
Oh, okay. They finally started that?
They finally started. They've cleared out 2 of the hangar areas that were right next to the old terminal. Yep. They're going to build a new terminal. Well, I guess something was mismarked, and they went right through a power line, an underground power line. And my guess is that it was a delayed reaction. And it was one of those things where it hit the power grid, and only certain sections blew out, and then the storm hit, and so there was already a drain.
So it just double drained.
And it got in there, and something happened because of the drain on the power. Because APS we showed up and the power was out, and within 30 minutes, APS was out on the street fixing stuff.
Yep.
So, because we have 2 huge power transformers outside the building, because we pull power from 2 different locations. Because how much power we pull because the building's so big.
Right.
And so they were out there going to town on that thing.
Sweet.
So, all
right. Surprised you don't have a backup generator over there.
We do have some backup generators for basic stuff, for basic security lighting and stuff like that. But for the main building, you would need a massive generator. It's just not realistic. I mean, the security cameras and the security lights still work, of course, but like the heaters and stuff like that wouldn't work, and the main power wouldn't work, but the security lights, of course, work.
Right.
So, to the point where actually a lot of people didn't even realize the power was out. Because some of the lights on the outside of the building are security lights as well that stay on.
Oh, yeah. So
it's 30 degrees right now, 68% humidity.
It's also midnight.
It is, actually. It's 12:12 right now. It is going to be warm like it was today, tomorrow, with a high of 54, and then a high of 55 the next day. And then on Thursday, a high of 50, and then we're supposed to get some inclement weather on Thursday night, Friday morning, kind of like we did last week. 30-40% chance. But I mean,
hopefully not too much. We got a wedding outside.
So far, the weather has been pretty hit and miss, literally hit and miss. With the first storm being hit, the second storm being miss, the third storm being hit, and now it's the 4th storm.
And we'll probably miss. Maybe miss.
Maybe not.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, at this point, we're at weather forecasting odds here with 50-50.
Indeed.
So, and the weather after it looks like it's going to stay pretty warm, 50 up in the 50s, which is nice. That typically means a nice warm day and a nice crisp evening.
It's brisk.
So it looks like it's going to be down below freezing on Friday night, but that's going to be it. It's going to be up above freezing for the rest of the rest of the weekend.
Well, we'll be down in the valley on Saturday.
Into Milk Day, which is on Monday.
Awesome.
So the day that we celebrate one of my favorite American heroes, patriarchs. I don't know how to say
patriots. He's a patriot.
He is. He did a lot.
He's a patriot, and he has been misquoted.
He has done He did so much for civil rights for everyone.
For everyone,
he did a ton of stuff.
And
for
that
civil
is
rights
what
for
I say
everyone.
about misquoted, because it wasn't just for the blacks.
And he is definitely misquoted. He's definitely misunderstood. And I wish that he had spent a little bit more time kind of cleaning out his inner circle.
Articulating and cleaning out his inner circle.
Because, well, no, he did more than enough on articulating. All you have to do is read his I Have a Dream speech, and it's pretty clear what he believed.
Yeah. Yeah. But his inner circle was...
But, I mean, you got guys like Malcolm X and stuff like that. And just... It's painful to read the history, and it's just like, this guy poured his heart and soul into equality, and what does he get? He gets some radical psychopath who just wants to hurt people.
Yep.
And what a horrible way to
have your legacy
be
derailed.
To be derailed like that. So anyway, with that fun note, we should finish her up.
Finished.
Stung by a bee, Scott.
Who's a big bee?
A big bee.
We are Podbros. We're very happy to be back with you guys. We'll be back again mañana. Probably a little bit earlier tomorrow. Today was a unique day. I passed out in the middle of the day.
Today was recovery day.
So was
Saturday. Saturday was recovery day.
Saturday and Mondays are recovery days for after conference for Nick. Of course, I wore myself out this weekend as well.
Yeah,
up late every night, up early every day.
Yeah. Also, my eating regimen has been pretty bad.
Yeah, mine's been off the
out to lunch.
To lunch. Yeah, starting tomorrow, I will be back on my intermittent
eating.
Starting tomorrow after breakfast, of course, because
there's
breakfast.
Oh well, I mean,
it's a cheat day.
Of course,
it's been a cheat life currently. So, you know what? I did come up with a couple of resolutions, 2 resolutions for the new year.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I've told these on the air yet or not, but I'm gonna tell them again. The first one is to get in shape, lose weight, and the second one, get in shape and lose weight since the accident.
The
first one. And then the second resolution, of course, is to stop calling getting fat and out of shape the accident.
So ridiculous.
Hey, we're Podbros.
A production of Sound Bros Productions.
And we're super happy that you were with us today. And, we really, really, really hope you learned something.
Because if you're not learning,
you're dying. So stay alive.